Innovation in pet treats is here. Introducing Gut Healthy Dog Treats. This all-organic, tasty treat is infused with microbe fiber prebiotic. Like a human, your dog has billions of gut bacteria that influence their health and well-being. Microbe fiber is proven to flourish the good bacteria in your dog's gut by converting those bacteria to a more favorable balance. Better energy, digestion, relief from paw licking, itching, teary eyes, and hip and joint pain is promoted when you use our treats. The science is real. You'll notice the difference and your dog will notice the difference. Let's get started right now so you can take advantage of a discount. So simple. Go to guthealthydogtreats.com right now and save 10% by using promo code HEALTHY. That's guthealthydogtreats.com, code HEALTHY, to save the 10%. We promise your dog will experience a better life or your money back. See you at guthealthydogtreats.com.
910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming. On Mondays at 8 p.m., catch a 2-hour block of Law & Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38.
The weekend lineup on 910 AM is crazy.
I am your host, Nurse Charms, the nurse of morning radio, here to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information in health, wellness, nursing, and medicine. Listen, information is power and information is currency, so we do not do misinformation over here. Stay locked in with me, and I promise that you will not be disappointed. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., chime in on the discussions that we have on this show so we can hear from you.
910 AM Superstation. WFDF Farmington Hills, Detroit. 910 AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media.
The world. Happy Sunday. You are listening to 910 AM Superstation, and this is Nurse Charms Live. I am your host, Nurse Charms, the nurse of morning radio, here to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information in health, wellness, nursing, and medicine. If you're just tuning in as a new listener, I am here on air every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So set your alarm clocks and prepare to wake up on Sundays at 6 a.m. Listen, I am an experienced registered nurse of 21 years. So as someone who has been in this profession for 21 years, that means it's important to me to keep it real with y'all and get y'all the information that you need so you can make the right choices that will benefit your life. So my hopes with this show are that everybody, individuals, their communities are becoming healthier and living a more productive life. So as I said, I'm a registered nurse who is actively licensed by the state of Michigan for 21 years, and currently I am employed with the local hospital. I am also a licensed massage therapist of 10 years and a serial entrepreneur. So that's my background, and I'm sticking with it. And I'm going to always start off this show letting y'all know that I have my street creds, okay? However, this is the people show, and I say it every week. That means I want to hear all of y'all's opinions on certain topics. I don't want to just sit here and dominate my radio show without letting my callers express their thoughts. So please call into my show, okay? The number is 313-778-7600. Again, 313-778-7600. And I want all of you to chime in on the discussions that we have so we can hear from you. I am an open book, so you can ask me anything, and I will always do my best to try to answer your questions with research and facts. And if you're watching the show on the 910 AM Superstation page, please drop a heart emoji and share this video, because that lets the Facebook algorithm know that this is good content, and they will continue to show this video to more and more people so we can get this content out there. I also want to mention that we are streaming live on the 910 AM Superstation app. I personally have the 910 AM app on my phone, and I recommend that everyone else goes and gets the app, and you can download that app in the App Store. We can also be heard on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn Radio app. And lastly, you can always visit the 910 AM website and watch us live in the studio. So there are plenty of ways to listen to my show without any excuses. That means I want y'all here every Sunday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. All right, y'all? So this morning, Dr. Michelle is joining me as my guest for the beginning of the show. So if you're watching on our 910 AM Facebook page, our website, or the app, you can see Dr. Michelle in the studio with me. Dr. Michelle, wave to the camera so everybody can see that you're here. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Which one is my camera? Either one.
She want her own camera.
Right. I'm like, I see one over there and one over there.
Celebrity
right.
In the
I'm
house.
like, which one?
Yeah, and I really appreciate Dr. Michelle being here. But really quick, before I welcome Dr. Michelle, I want to give a disclaimer that neither myself nor any of my guests are being endorsed. Therefore, I want everyone to know that we are sharing our own knowledge and experience with hopes it will be educational and add value to everyone listening. But please, please, please remember to always consult your personal physician. Okay? This show is for educational purposes only and not diagnosing purposes. Well, good morning, Dr. Michelle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm feeling good. Made it through the week. It's a new week, Sunday. So, yeah. So to begin, please tell all the listeners briefly about your background. I call it my street creds. I always have my guests, give a little background. So when people are tuning in, they're like, okay, who is this? What does she do?
Right.
So, yeah, what's your title, your years of practice, and what you do?
Well, I'm Dr. Michelle Lino, a licensed psychologist. My business, DML Psychological Services. I'm also the host of My Matters with Dr. Michelle, as Nurse Charms mentioned. I've been practicing for a very long time, more than about 20 years, I would say.
Yeah, okay, hold on. We got to get a hand clap, Jalen, for that My Matters with Dr. Michelle.
Thank you. Tell
them about your show, because this is a big deal, how long you've been on and all that good stuff.
Yes, so I have recorded about 85 shows. We're in the 5th season, going into the 6th season, and the show airs every Saturday on TV20 Detroit. You can watch at 11:30 a.m., and we're covering all the topics, everything your mental health, your health and well-being.
That is so awesome. Yes, I'm so proud of you. So this morning, we are having a discussion about lying as a mental health disorder. I know. So if y'all know some pathological liars out there, then call in 313-778-7600 and share those stories with us. Because let's just be clear, doctors, therapists, experts have been neglectful in giving serious attention or even raising awareness about how lying could possibly be a mental health disorder. And currently, as it even stands today, lying doesn't have its own diagnosis in the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, basically like the Bible of psychiatry. They just have lying listed as a feature of other diagnoses like personality disorders. And Dr. Michelle, I'm sure she'll get into that later. So this means that there's no evidence-based way to treat lying since it's not even recognized as a psychiatric diagnosis. So this morning, we're going to just get right into this discussion, and Dr. Michelle is going to share some insights. So the first question that I have for you, Dr. Michelle, is just let everybody know, what is the definition of a pathological liar? Because some people just have a trouble sticking to the facts. Like, is that a bad thing? I mean, so just get into it.
Yeah, so a pathological liar shouldn't be confused with just a liar. Some people lie for survival, right? They lie because, like a kid doesn't want to get in trouble, so they lie and say they didn't do it or they did do it. A pathological liar can't resist. They lie on impulse. It's like something, even small things that they wouldn't have to lie about. It may not even contribute to their end game, but they still lie. So they lie on impulse. It's an impulsive urge to just not tell the truth. And so it shouldn't be confused with just everyday lying. It really is something that is pathological. And oftentimes it doesn't just disrupt that person's life. It disrupts the people's lives around them because they're like, you're like, why is this person lying? Like, I know you're lying. It's like, why are you lying about something so simple? So it may be something very, very small to something major, but they have a hard time resisting that lie.
So are pathological liars, is that something that's common in the world? Or would you say, that's something that's like less than 10% of the world?
I would say, maybe about 10%. Like, you may have somebody in your life that lies, but they're not a pathological liar. I mean, everybody has told a lie before, right?
Right.
But pathological lying is something that's very, very disruptive and is more common than we think. But you when you're around a pathological liar, because just like with any, and we'll get more into like personality disorders, but just like with any type of like personality disorder or character pathology, you kind of sense that something is off, and you almost don't want to. The person can make you feel uncomfortable because the lie is so excessive and unnecessary even.
Right. So you're saying that lying is common. Would you just say
lying is common?
It's common. Is it normal? Is it also normal?
Well, it depends. A small lies, when we call it like a small white lie.
White lie.
Yeah, that's normal. Pathological lying is not normal.
Okay. Thanks for making
that.
Yeah,
so we don't want to just label, like if you're around somebody who lies, you don't want to jump the gun and say, hey, this is a pathological liar. Because sometimes I find that we live in a world now with, everything you can Google and find information on it. We link every single person to that. Yeah, it's right. This person, that's a pathological liar. So let's not, let's keep it contained so that it actually fits the person.
and that's something you have to have a diagnosis for, right? It's not something that you could just be like, oh my gosh, this person is a pathological liar. Like you can't just casually throw that term around, can you? Or
you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't do that. People will, just like calling somebody a narcissist. It's like at one point everybody was just kind of throwing that word around when it didn't even fit that person. But yeah, it's like it's not. There's no diagnosis for it, as you mentioned earlier, but it does get lumped in with other disorders.
Okay. So when does lying tilt the scales to the point where it becomes a clinical and mental health issue? And I want you to distinguish that from more common lies that people tell. For example, somebody might be like, oh, you look good, girl, you look good, knowing like she looks terrible,
right.
But I don't want to hurt her feelings. So, yeah, you look good. Or, you tell someone, oh, I'm on my way. And I can't even lie. Like, I am so bad. I'd be like, I'm on my way. I ain't even left the house
you're
yet.
still in the house.
Right. So just get into that, a little bit.
Yeah. So it disrupts the person's life, and like they start to jeopardize relationships, whether it's intimate relationships, friendships, work relationships, because people are like you're lying, and why are you lying? And again, most of us have control over lies. If we decide to lie, if I told you this morning, hey, I'm on my way, but I'm still at home, and it's like, okay, it's a little lie because I'm almost there, right?
Right.
But when it comes to there's almost like a lack of control over the line, and it's unnecessary. It's like very, very impulsive behavior. So if you've been around somebody who behaves impulsively, you kind of see that they don't have a lot of control over it. And so the person doesn't have as much control, although the lying may not bother the liar as much as it bothers the people around them, because the people around them start to fact check and say, okay, this is a lie, and this is a lie. Why did you tell these lies? And again, the sad part about it is that the lies may not even help them grow. It may just be this, like, it becomes like an addiction. Let me lie, and let me lie again.
Right. So, I mean, how should we confront a liar? Like, if we know they're liars, should we just like call them out, or should we just be very mindful that, maybe this person is a pathological liar and don't say anything? Like, I mean, just like, how should you handle that? Because I'm sure that many people have been in situations and you just be like, dang, why do this person like lie so much? Like, I literally know some people like that right now, and you just be looking like, dang, you just gonna lie, like, like bold-faced lie. So like, and you want to call them out because sometimes you want to just be mean, like, man, shut up, you is lying. But then sometimes you want to be like, well, maybe they have some type of issues where they're. So how do you handle that?
So let me tell you, calling out a pathological liar, you're wasting your time. You're just looking for an argument, because they're not, to them, they've convinced themselves that it's the truth. This is not just your regular liar, right? So when you catch, your typical liar, somebody who's telling a small lie, in a lie, it's like, okay, they may get upset about it. A pathological liar is not going to say, okay, yeah, you got me, Nurse Charms. So what's going to happen is that it may become very combative.
Okay. And on that note, we are going to take our first commercial break. Be sure to continue listening. I have a commercial that you're going to hear throughout the show. I have a new commercial for my hairline, So Gorgeous. So check that out, y'all. We will be right back after the break. This is Nurse Charms Live. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
So Gorgeous is the latest brand to hit the hair extension and wig market. Made from 100% human hair donors with textures to perfectly blend into your hair, giving you full, natural-looking styles with added volume and length. You can wash, color, curl, and straighten our gorgeous bundles and wigs. Shop our collection now at SoSoGorgeous.com and get ready to show off your gorgeous hair.
This is 910 AM Superstation. You are listening to Nurse Charms Live. We are having a great dialogue here about pathological liars. And I have clinical psychologist, Dr. Michelle in the studio. I almost said Dr. Lino. Then I almost said Dr. Michelle. I know you're branding yourself as Dr. Michelle, so I had to clear that up. Yeah, so I have Dr. Michelle in the studio, and let's just get right back into our conversation, because I want to know, how can people get help for lying when it has begun to cause social, relationship, and employment problems?
Well, usually a liar is not going to initiate help for something like that. And so that's when we get into with these types of disorders. Although this is not an official disorder, people don't usually, if the lying is not bothering you, it's like if somebody says, hey, you need to go to therapy, but it's not bothering you, you're not going to feel motivated to go to therapy. So you're not going to initiate it. It's almost like this person has to be forced to get into therapy. And whether it's like a job or legal or something, so there has to be some consequences.
That's what we were talking about before we went into break. We were saying, you were saying don't call nobody out if they're lying.
You can call them out, but you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, how do you address that with a person? Maybe not call them out. Can you say it in a nice way? Or is it, I just want to let people know, is it never good to try to confront somebody about, hey, have you thought about getting help because you do tell a lie? Like those things you're saying there. I just want to know how people, because we've all been in this situation. How do we handle these people who lie so much? Do we just not be their friends, or do we just kind of avoid them? What do we do?
Well, it's not that you can't call them out. I want to make this clear too. It's not that the person is dangerous because they lie. So it's not like calling them out is going to put yourself in harm's way. It's just that you may not get anywhere with them, because remember, the person who's lying, and if it's pathological and they're lying on impulse, as I said, they've convinced themselves that they're telling the truth. So what you're talking about is irrelevant to them. And so to them, you're just nitpicking and you're talking about something that we don't even really need to discuss right now. So calling them out, you can have a discussion with them okay, if I know you lied about this. And if you're going to go to them, be prepared to present some facts to them and let them know, okay, I know this is a lie and go from there. But yeah, it's fine to call the person out. Just don't expect them to say, oh yeah, you caught me.
Wow. Our lines are blowing up. Thank you, callers, for calling in this morning. I'm sure you have some questions for Dr. Michelle. I'm going to get to your calls in just one moment here. Let's see, Dr. Michelle, I have another question for you. I want to know, is lying ever a principal problem, or is it usually in association with other mental health pathologies? And if so, I want you to name some other mental health pathologies with signs and symptoms that are tied to lying.
Yeah, so oftentimes, as I mentioned, it falls under the personality disorders. And one may be, and this is just one, may be antisocial personality disorder. This person may lie because they disregard social norms and they believe that they're entitled to whatever it is that they're lying about, and they're not even thinking about the lying and so that may be one. And then it may also be tied to, there are some other disorders. Again, these fall under personality disorders, and with personality disorders, people don't oftentimes go into, let's say somebody who has a narcissistic personality disorder, they may convince themselves that what they're saying is true because they have this grandiose sense of who they really are, but you know that they're lying because, let's say you have that person around you and everything they talk about is like grand, everything they have is grand, there's never nothing about them is small, right? And you're like, okay, but I know they didn't just go and get that car, I know they didn't get this job, I know they weren't hired, but to them they're telling the truth. So there's really no need, as far as they're concerned, for them to go out and get therapy. And so, yes, it's usually tied to another disorder. However, treating it, I know we talk about it getting into the DSM. The person who's lying is not going to just go to therapy on their own most of the time. And so I don't really see a point in having it as its own diagnosis because there's enough diagnoses that we already have that it can fit under.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Another question I have is, what about some professions that seem to attract people who lie? I mean, let's just be honest. There's some scam sales companies, even politicians lie. So can these types of people be at risk for becoming a pathological liar?
Well, sure, because that's part of the job. So you lie long enough. I mean, if let's say you're working for the, I guess, CIA or something, and you have to have this, a separate persona from who you really are, and you get so used to that, you get so used to not being able to tell the truth, and maybe it starts out as you have control over it because you're lying because of because of the end game. But then as you get to the point where you no longer have to lie and you keep lying, that's when, again, we get back into the pathological liar. But at that point, they're not going to go to therapy because it's part of their job to lie. And they just become really, really good at it. I'm convinced that most people who get into that business, though, they're already good at it before they get into the business. It's kind of hard to really be trained to be a pathological liar.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get to our callers here. Let's see. We have Emery. Good morning, Emery. How are you?
Hey, Miss Charles. How you doing?
I am doing well.
And Dr. Michelle, how you guys doing? I apologize. Hi. I ended up having a slip and fall on Wednesday, and I fractured my elbow and screwed up my knee, so the drugs just wore off.
Oh, I understand.
So,
hope you feel better, Emily.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But I guess when I heard when you guys were talking about lying, of course, Nurse Charles, I'm actually in politics as well as far as sales. So I'm kind of the person that would have to lie based upon my profession, which is something I don't do. But what I will say, I look at, I guess, two people that stands out as there's probably going to be in the future case studies on liars in politics, which would be George Santos and Donald Trump. And both of those, we all know, I mean, George Santos has been caught up in so many lies.
Right.
And Donald Trump has made lying a business. So, with the alternative facts, I know that was, his press secretary one time. Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the lady's name.
Kaylee?
No, not her. I'm sorry. The other one. The first. I mean, it was his campaign manager at first. I forgot.
I don't know.
Blonde lady. I forgot her name. But when it comes down to it, I think that listen. I know about Paul Young. He's talking about wearing masks. As it relates to having a mask with in society, dealing with people like in me in sales, I have to deal with my customers, or for me in politics to deal with my clients, or deal with my family and my daughter and all those type of things. We have to have masks sometimes, but to your point, we don't have to lie about everything. We just there's versions of our truth. These two guys, they just lie. So I'm just going to sit back and listen to you guys. And Dr. Michelle, I want your clinical analysis on both of them. Thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thanks, Emery.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get to our next caller. We have PG. Good morning, PG. How are you?
Well, good morning, Nurse Charms, and to the doctor.
Good morning.
This subject matter is so important.
Girl, isn't it? I know you know somebody who be lying, right, PG?
Oh, I hear it all the time on the radio. You know, Doc, I think we should go a little bit deeper beyond the compulsive lying and get into that histrionic personality disorder and that borderline personality disorder. If you were to listen to 910 and listen to a lot of these callers, they say these dastardly things about certain people, and me and my husband happen to be two of those people because they like the attention that they receive when they say those negative and dastardly things. I keep telling people when a person can utter the words, "I hate you," and they've never been around you, don't know you, probably don't know what you look like unless they've seen you at the mall, like Macy's or something, but they can hate you, or they can hate your tone of voice, they can hate your perception of your lifestyle with someone else. That is a serious mental condition. And I can hear it based on what they say, because some people read between the lines, Doc. I try to hear between the lines. When a person is all seductive, flirtatious, cunningly, and charming, to me, that's something really, really deep. When they try to manipulate the narrative with what they say about someone, to me, that's serious and it's dangerous because it always starts with a verbal threat. It starts with a verbal threat when you like to go hunting or when you're trying to get silver cats or all of these things. And then after you say it and you try to convince people of something so colossally incompetent, the next thing is to act on it because you're thriving on the attention that people are giving you, and that's when people can make a mistake of a lifetime and commit a crime that they can't come back from.
PG, thank you for your comment this morning. Please continue to listen. If you have any other comments, please feel free to call back. We're going to take our next commercial break. This is 910 AM Superstation. You are listening to Nurse Charms Live. I have Dr. Michelle in studio with me. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy. for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials. And, you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days after taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
So Gorgeous is the latest brand to hit the hair extension and wig market. Made from 100% human hair donors with textures to perfectly blend into your hair, giving you full, natural-looking styles with added volume and length. You can wash, color, curl, and straighten our gorgeous bundles and wigs. Shop our collection now at SoSoGorgeous.com and get ready to show off your gorgeous hair.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
And we are back. This is Nurse Charms Live. You are listening to 910 AM Superstation. We are having a great discussion about pathological liars. Callers, I see that you are on hold. I'm going to get back to you in just one moment. We have Dr. Michelle in the studio with us. And did you want to say anything before we hop back into our callers?
Yeah, so I think my volume was down. Your last guest was talking about, is my volume on?
Yep, we could hear you.
Okay, your last guest was had mentioned, or the last caller mentioned, borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorders. And I was telling Nurse Charms that we could have a whole entire show, probably several shows on personality disorders. But with histrionic personality disorder, there's just this need for attention, the person being very, very seductive. There's not so much a problem with compulsive or impulsive lying as much, because there's just this need for attention. Borderline personality disorders, the problem is the extreme behavior. They have a lot of love-hate relationships with people. And so in those situations, it's not so much that lying would be an issue. It's the other behaviors, the extreme behaviors, breaking out car windows or just, and then apologizing 5 minutes later. So those are more of the issues when it comes to something like that.
All right. And I just want to say that now we have two doctors and me, a nurse, all in the studio. Ooh, Dr. Grace has just joined us. Hey, Dr. Grace.
Hello.
So just jump right in,
it's
girlfriend.
So funny that she just said that. Okay, so I had a situation like that when I had to take somebody to court like that. It was one of my brother's girlfriends. We just talked about her yesterday. He was like, have you seen or talked to such and such? I said, I haven't talked to her since she busted out all my windows.
Oh, Lord.
And it was so funny. I was just graduating medical school. And we had to go to court, and I was studying psychology at the time. And I was like, oh, my God, she meets all the criteria of borderline personality.
Yeah.
And they have the splitting thing. They either like you or don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like once you do something, they don't like you forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no coming back or whatever. And when you said bust out windows, I was like, yeah, that's her. Just had the conversation yesterday.
Yeah, it's the, I love you, I'm sorry, I hate you. You know what I mean? It's like those extreme behaviors. So it's not so much lying. It's like they feel how they feel, and they can't really reel it in.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to our callers. Let's see. Fidel. Good morning, Fidel. Are you there?
Hey, good morning, ladies. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing well.
So I'm listening and I'm trying to comprehend. I'm trying to wrap it all up because y'all all made valid points. And y'all know the only thing I can come up with, we as a society, this world, it's a lying society. It's a lying world, especially for blacks. We've been lied to from day one and coming in the action with them. So we was brought up on the lie. We was taught to lie. And now it's just a spell, just a curse. LL Cool J made a song about it in the late 80s. That's a lie. You're a liar. So we've been taught, if you tell a rumor on a person, that's a lie. If you tell people, you write down what this person looked like in the book and then they put up on their walls something totally different, that's a spell, a curse, and a lie all wrapped up in one. Oliver North said he don't recall, and he recalled what's going on. Your president said, I don't know this drug guy. Then later on, it's a picture with him shaking his hand. This world, look at all the inventions we done made. You know what I mean? Look at what we done built. No, y'all didn't do that. We did that. Come to find out, no, y'all didn't. We did it, even down to our name. So last but not least, ladies, I'm going to sum it up. What I deal with is I give them an ultimatum. You got to wait till you're on that job site, till you know in person, and they need something. And when they need something, you say, I'll give it to you, only if you tell me the truth. You let them dig their own hole in it. And if you lie to me again, I won't ever help you again. You know what I mean? I call them out, and that's why most people dislike me, Nurse Child. If I sit here and say, I wouldn't vote for these group of people, somebody come right behind me and say, he said he don't vote. And that's just not what I said. So again, if I allow my application say I got this degree, I got this experience at a job site, and the company don't check it, that makes me catch a couple extra $100,000. You understand me? So my whole thing is we was built and programmed to lie. And thank you. This is a great, great subject. And be very careful, too, lady. A lot of our callers, a lot of people out here in the world, they are suffering from drug addiction, and you can just tell it, and you just have to have patience with them. Peace out, ladies. Have a great morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Fidel. Thank you for calling. Dr. Michelle, you want to chime in on what he said, because he's saying that he thinks that it's a cultural thing, it's a race thing. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's, we could talk about lying for survival, and we talk about lying for survival. It may be a cultural or a race thing. However, when we're talking about pathological lying, and I have not found that that's a cultural or a race thing. We have pathological liars in all colors, shapes, forms, right? Because it really is something that the person they can't resist. And not everybody walking around lying is a pathological liar. I think he used one example of the president saying that he didn't know somebody, and then all of a sudden, well, that doesn't automatically make you a pathological liar, because you may say you don't know this person because you don't think you're going to get caught. So you're taking time to think about this lie that you're telling. Right. Sometimes pathological liars don't even take time to think about the lies that they're telling, because they've convinced themselves that the lie is the truth.
Right. Let's see. Let's get back into our callers. We have Jerry on the line. Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How are you, dear? And thank you for taking my call. And good morning to you. Happy Sunday. And to your two beautiful, charming doctors. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you. My dear registered nurse, what I tried to say in my comments, there is nobody perfect. and everybody lie. I'm talking in general. But I want to focus in on the relation between man and woman, wife and husband, girlfriend and boyfriend, or just a friend. Sometimes, my dear ladies, the man, and I'm talking in general, the man sometimes he has to lie because when he says the truth, he gets in trouble. So sometimes he tries to avoid problem, so he lie. He lie about it. Because when he said the truth to the miss, oh my God, she will turn the house or that day or that night to World War III zone. So, I mean, I'm sorry to use the term. I'd be damned if I do it, and I'd be damned if I don't do it. So this is the question I want to address it. And in the meantime, my last direct question is, do we give another chance to the liar? It doesn't matter. Was small lie, big lie, lie is a lie.
Right.
I would love to hear the answer. Thank you for this beautiful program. That's very important subject. God bless you, nurse, for what you're doing, and God bless the two doctors, and God bless all the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a great question, Jerry. So, Dr. Michelle, you want to get into that answer for him?
Yeah, so I don't know if there was more than one question, but I do want to address what he said about, I guess, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right. That's one of those situations where that situation that scenario does not make you a pathological liar. It may make you somebody who's lying for survival. As I said, you're in a situation, and so you're lying because you need to lie, but you're aware of it, right? And you can be caught out on it. Right. And it's not so intense, it's not so extreme. And do you give the liar another chance? Well, that's really,
it's basically subjective, right?
Yeah. If you're with a pathological liar and you keep giving them a chance, you're going to keep giving them a chance to keep lying to you. And that's what you're going to do. So that's really up to you and your patience, how many chances you give that person, but you're probably asking for somebody to keep lying to you.
What would you say on that note, Dr. Grace? Because I know you're very spiritual and you understand forgiving and stuff. I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm just saying, I guess coming from that perspective, somebody who has told a very critical lie to you, how would you handle that? Would you forgive them? Are we still cool? And, or how would you handle that?
Well, I remember I was going to ask her a question. I was like, okay, how do you handle a pathological liar?
Okay, go ahead.
But forgiveness is, you always forgive, but you have to understand what you're dealing with. So if a person is a pathological liar, you have to deal with them and handle them in a certain way. You shouldn't harbor any unforgiveness towards them because they have a disease, just like heart attacks, high blood pressure, diabetes is all a disease. So you treat it as such. So you're not unforgiving to someone who has a sickness or a disorder.
Right.
So forgiveness is paramount in any situation. So, but I just want to know, how do you handle them after we come back from the break?
Right. Yeah. You're listening to Nurse Charms Live. This is 910 AM Superstation. I have with me Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace having a great conversation. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
So Gorgeous is the latest brand to hit the hair extension and wig market. Made from 100% human hair donors with textures to perfectly blend into your hair, giving you full, natural-looking styles with added volume and length. You can wash, color, curl, and straighten our gorgeous bundles and wigs. Shop our collection now at sosogorgeous.com and get ready to show off your gorgeous hair.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
And we are back. This is 910 AM Superstation. You are listening to Nurse Charms Live. We are having a conversation about pathological lying. So if you want to call the studio, the number's 313-778-7600. Get in on this discussion because the phone lines have been blowing up. It is hot. I know everyone knows a pathological liar out there. Dr. Michelle is in the studio, and she is a licensed psychologist, so she can definitely give insight on any questions that you have. We have Dr. Grace here also, and she is an internal medicine physician, family practice, and she can share insight on any questions that you have as well. So let's just get back into our callers. Let's see. Who do we have holding?
Don't forget about my question.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Grace. Go ahead, girlfriend.
My question was,
don't leave me out.
how do you handle a pathological liar?
So
we all need to know that.
Yeah. So and you mentioned forgiveness. Okay. So
right, forgiveness,
and I believe in forgiveness too. You know, I'm going to say, however, when it comes to a pathological liar, you have to decide how many times do you forgive and stay, or forgive and stick it out and forgive and forgive, because eventually you lose patience with that person, because that person is probably not going to stop lying. And even with, now, okay, I'm a psychologist saying this, even with treatment, the chances are, if that person is truly a pathological liar, they may not change. And so the way you handle them is to be real with yourself and say, I'm dealing with a pathological liar, and I just have to know they may not be telling me the truth about something, right, and just accept that. And because you don't want to waste your time trying to change the person, because then you're putting all of your energy into this person that's probably not going to change. So it's better to just like be patient, pay attention to, you know, what you're seeing, how big are the lies, and how much can you deal with.
So do you ever say to them, you know, you're lying right now?
Yes, and that you can confront them, but you're probably you be prepared to stay in battle.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because you know a pathological liar may not even be completely like they know they lied, but at the same time, it may not be at the forefront of their brain that they're lying when you call them out on this. So they're like, what are you talking about? You're just nitpicking. You know what I mean? It's
right.
like it'll be a lot of gaslighting.
Gotcha.
Like you're the one with the problem. And then so you may start to question your own sanity because you're trying to call this liar out.
Right. Yeah, so it's like, don't even bother.
Protect your mental health first.
Right. Okay, let's get to Mary. Good morning, Mary. Are you there?
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling Nurse Charms Live.
Thank you, Nurse Charms. How are you?
I'm doing well. Do you have a comment?
Good morning to Dr. Jess. The comment is, okay, so when watching television, we always see the protagonist and the antagonist. And so sometimes in calling into the radio, I determine who's the antagonist and the protagonist. So is it possible, and this is not, in case someone is thinking this is not directed at anyone, is it possible to dislike a personality, not necessarily the person?
That's a good question.
People draw from trying to envision how a person is based on what personality that person displays. Is it possible just to not like the personality of that person?
Like, can you separate the two?
Without being labeled as being, how can you be mentally dislike a person? It's like, no, I dislike that personality. I dislike that behavior.
Right.
Of
course. That's a great question.
Well, it's important to remember that the person's personality is a big part of who they are. So if you're in that position to separate them, then you're using clinical skills right there, because most of the time when we don't like a person's personality and we come to not like them or not really want to be around them or not trust being around them. So I'm going to say it's really, really difficult to separate the two. And if you do separate the two, then you're very evolved in being able to do that. But it's not easy to separate the two.
But I think that's what a lot of people do, especially like in relationships. You're dealing with somebody, and I mean, even if it's somebody, unfortunately, like violent, abusive, and they try to separate it. And so Mary, I get your question, what you're saying, because it's like, well, they're a good person, they do these things, or they're always thoughtful, blah blah blah. But then they have this streak to them where they may be a pathological liar, blah blah blah. So can you still I like the person, but I just don't like this about them.
Yeah, but you still end up doing a lot of damage. So we do that often, like you just said. We say, oh, this person she's a great mother, or he's a great father, or they're a great spouse or partner, but they, they're very abusive, or, whether it's physically or emotionally. And oftentimes separating the two takes a lot of energy, and it may not be good for you, especially in those situations. So sometimes we stay in situations because we're separating the two, and it's not always healthy for us.
Yeah, I can hear what she's trying to say. You can love the person and hate the sin.
Yes.
We are to love everyone, but we don't have to like you. I hear that too. I love you, but I don't like you. But what they're saying, I don't like what you're doing right now.
Right.
But I also hear what you're saying clinically. If it's a situation where it's detrimental to you, doggone the separation. I mean, you just need to get away from that person. So, but I hear what you're saying. You can love the person and hate their behavior. Don't like their behavior.
And sometimes you choose to maybe not spend as much time with that person. Sometimes you figure out what works for you if you're in that position to separate the two.
Mary, what else were you going to say?
And shaping and molding children. It's like if you're shaping and molding a child, granted, you cannot separate. You have to be tolerant. And so when trying to get children to understand, no, it is your behavior. Like sometimes children, oh, you just don't like me. No, it is the behavior.
Yeah.
I do not like.
Yes,
but
yes.
I love you.
Right.
So it's like you can't separate from that child, and with an adult, yes,
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you get a person to understand that it is the displaying of the behavior that is not acceptable?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned behavior.
Yeah, this was a great question.
I'm glad she mentioned behavior. Now that sometimes is easier. Okay, when we talk about personality, we talk about something that's very, very deeply rooted. It's like that represents the person. Behavior is more flexible. Okay, so a child's behavior or an adult's behavior, that can change, and that's a little more easier to tolerate than personality. Right. Because that's more personality is not as well. Behavior may come from we're in a situation, and so we show a certain behavior. Personality is a constant. Personality represents who you are all the time. So could behavior stem from personality? As I mentioned, borderline personality disorder. Could breaking out somebody's windows and then apologizing stem from your personality? Absolutely. But personality is more constant. Behavior fluctuates.
All right. Thank you for that question, Mary. Appreciate you listening to Nurse Charms Live. Please continue to listen. Callers, we see you holding. We're going to get to you as soon as we come back. Norman, I will talk with you as soon as we come back from the break. This is Nurse Charms Live. I have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace in the studio. We'll be right back.
All right.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Langston Hughes lived 1902 to 1967, one of the most important writers of Harlem Renaissance, best known for his innovation of art form called jazz poetry.
9:10 a.m. Superstation. Celebrate Black History Month.
Sunday, February 26th, it's Savior's Day with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His subject, the War of Armageddon, has begun.
The Great War has begun. And foreign wars and the plagues that are hitting America and the world is destroying the American economy.
Sunday, February 26th, live in the Wintrust Arena. Doors open at noon. Get your tickets now at all Ticketmaster outlets and get all the details at NOI.org.
Airing live on WFDF 910 a.m. Superstation at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I had no energy. For months and months and months, I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and, you don't know if something's going to help you or not, but I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days after taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
WFDF Farmington Hills, Detroit, 910 AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media. The weekend lineup on 910 AM is crazy.
I am your host, Nurse Charms, the nurse of morning radio, here to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information in health, wellness, nursing, and medicine. Listen, information is power and information is currency, so we do not do misinformation over here. Stay locked in with me, and I promise that you will not be disappointed. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., chime in on the discussions that we have on this show so we can hear from you.
910 AM Superstation. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media.
This is Nurse Charms Live. You are listening to 910 AM Superstation. We are everywhere. We are in your car with you. Connect with us on Apple TV, our podcast, on our 910 AM website, the 910 AM app, which is a free download, accessible on, Android and iOS operating systems. Hear us on Facebook, iHeartRadio, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, TuneIn Radio, Roku. 910 AM Superstation is literally everywhere. All right, so let's just get right back into this discussion. Let's see. Oh, we're going to go to Norman. Hey, Norman, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
I draw a comparison here. I'm finishing up an article that deals with, you talk about pathological liars and how that works and stuff. I draw a comparison to what you see down in Florida, where you have a governor that's a pathological liar. And to ensure that history of our history should be removed, and that it creates a scenario that black history is offensive of some sort of kind of thing. And again, that's all designed to keep us miseducated and those sort of things. We must fight that. We saw this in Michigan with Rick Snyder, and that's his activities in undermining the Detroit public schools to keep us. Why? Because these guys are wanted to keep us in a state of ignorance and subservitude, and that to me is what I would call a political pathological lie that has been perpetrated, and we see this struggle of fighting against these pathological liars in a broader sense as to when I went to South Africa. We saw the work of the Bantu Education Act by Heinrich Verwoerd. And we know that struggle that happened in South Africa is the same as what's happened in Florida and what's happened in Michigan, where you have these pathological liars who are being put into higher institutions to thwart our education, to thwart our progress. And and the way we fight this is knowledge of self. When we have knowledge of self, we have knowledge of our history, then we can defeat these pathological liars that come in and that find themselves elected to office and try to perpetrate this nonsense on the people. So that's the way I look at these arguments. Are one and the same. The fight in South Africa and the fight in here in Florida. I've had the opportunity to go to the Apartheid Museum in South Africa and look at what went on, and I see it's very similar to what Mr. DeSantis is doing here in Florida, and for that matter, like I said, what some Republicans are trying to do throughout this country. This is one and the same, and we must resist. We must fight. Wisdom and knowledge of ourselves and our history is the best way of avoiding this type of ignorance.
That's a great point. Thank you, Norman. What's your website? You want to
within the norms?
All right.
There's an article in there that talks about this.
All right.
Get woke.
All right. Thank you for calling, Norm. Please continue to listen. Let's get to Brooks. Good morning, Brooks. Are you there?
Hey, good morning, Nurse Charms, and to your lovely co-host. You got a great topic going on today. I found out, especially when it comes to women. My uncle told me when I was a teenager. He said, "Listen, nephew," I started really getting interested in young ladies. He said, "Listen, and my uncle always have a beautiful girl with a woman with him all the time." And I said, "Unc, how you always got these beautiful women?" He said, "Nephew, I'm going to tell you a little secret." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Always be honest when it comes to a woman." And I said, "Honest?" He said, "Tell her the truth." He said, "You're going to find out that a woman's going to respect you and like you more when you're honest. If you fake, it's going to make her despise you." So I said, I really didn't understand it. So I'm in school, and my brother at the time, he was hustling. He would always give me shoes. And one day, this young lady who I liked, she said, "Ronald, where you always getting all them shoes from? You always got a new pair of shoes on, seem like." I said, "Well, my brother gave them to me." She said, "Is OZ your brother?" "No, my brother wasn't even in school." I said, "How you know my brother OZ?" She said, "Everybody know OZ." And she told me, she said, "Ronald, that's what made me really like you, because you told me the truth. I knew your brother was giving you them shoes. I just wanted to see what you was going to say." And after that, I found out that keeping it 100 was the best way to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing the house. What am I going to say? Some of them shoes I was wearing, I couldn't even afford. So, if I would have lied to her, she would have knew I was being fake. So I just want to say, brothers, sisters, keep it 100.
Yes.
If you like a woman and you really ain't interested in her intimately, fellas, don't just with her. Tell her the truth. Because women have told me plenty times, I really don't like light-skinned guys. I took it and ran with it. Okay, baby, we could be friends. Ain't nothing wrong with being friends.
Yeah.
Everything, and that, you know what? That made them person even like me even more. So just keep it 100.
Yes, honesty is the best policy. I mean, like Dr. Michelle said earlier, lying is common, lying is normal, but there's a difference between pathological lying. So you definitely want to make sure that, like you said, keep it 100 to just avoid any issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's honesty's always.
Yeah, especially in a relationship.
Right. So, Brooks, thank you for calling Nurse Charms Live. Please continue to listen, all right? If you have any more comments, feel free to call back.
This show is 100.
Thank
I love
you.
y'all. Y'all have
all right, love you back. All right, let's get to Carl. Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Yes, thanks for taking my call. Good conversations, lady.
Thank you.
It does you no good, whatsoever. In my life, I have lied, but not to hurt nobody, try to get away with things. But that was in my younger years, especially when I learned about relationships. That's not a good thing whatsoever. But anyway, some people don't mind lying, and they keep the lie going, just like some of your callers was talking about in politics.
Yeah.
People, they see it right in their face, and they know it's a lie. When they make excuses, they call it falsehoods. What the heck is a falsehood or misspoke? No, you know what you're doing. Like when I used to come home from school, come out when the street lights was on. My mother, that's when I learned about it. Lying wasn't a good thing. She said, "What lie you got to tell now?" You see what I'm saying? So lying is something, and it doesn't do the body good whatsoever. Truth, some people really prefer the truth. Not all people, and people lie to get away with all kinds of things, even evil, to hurt you. You see what I'm saying?
So listen. I want to ask you one question real quick, because you said lying even when it can be hurtful. So are you one of the type of people who you don't want nobody to lie to you, even if it's gonna hurt you, or you don't mind, huh?
I don't want you to lie to me. I prefer the truth. You're in the medical field. I want to hear the truth. The truth, because then I can decide what I need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I prefer that because, that's the best thing. Our history, we have been taught to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
We're this, black people this, black people that. That's a lie.
Right.
Okay? And my auntie used to say, the truth is not in you. That means evil is present. It's best to work with yourself. We're all not perfect.
Yes.
We're human beings. We don't understand that. But when we look, that's why our country is in the situation it is in now.
Because the politicians lying to us.
Yes. In the school, it's best to tell the truth, and your family becomes stronger if you get together and don't lie between each other. Your family, amongst your own personal family. It's once you understand that, and people understand that, and people know it, it's much better. Sometimes the truth is very painful, but guess what? A lie is worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going on. But it's best, and you know what? It heals the body, the mind, the soul, the truth, to try to be truthful with yourself. You promise yourself something. I might on my finances or get my health together, but sometimes you fall off that. You're not necessarily lying to yourself. You have a right to, and build yourself back up and get yourself going again. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about when you try to hurt and harm other people. That's what lying really is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
And and lying to protect somebody is always only a short-term solution, because
that's what I was getting at.
And when the truth comes out, it's even worse for you and that person.
Because when you think of lying to protect, that happens a lot in relationships, right?
Yes.
It's like if somebody cheats on somebody, it's like, okay, and then you get confronted. It's like, no, I don't know that person, blah, blah, blah. And then the truth comes out and it's even worse. So I don't think that lying to protect somebody is good. I mean, I'm sure I have done it before.
Yeah, right. We all. Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, like most of the callers been saying this morning, just keep it 100. It doesn't matter, even if it's going to hurt me. Just always best policy. Let's see.
And now it is true that sometimes people can't handle the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know what? It's amazing that you talk about that. I remember a girlfriend, she caught her best friend's husband cheating. Mm-hmm. And she told her, because we were together, we saw him. She didn't believe her, and she fell out with her. So I think everyone should have a conversation. If somebody's cheating, do you want to know?
Yeah.
Right. So like you said, everyone can't handle the truth.
Yeah, everyone can't handle it.
Yeah.
So and when it comes to those relationships like that, those intimate relationships, it's best to stay out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but you learn that with adulthood.
Right.
Let's see. Let's get to Kenny. Good morning, Kenny. How are you?
Good morning. You got a good topic going today. I like that, and you're right. When it comes to a lot of the girlfriends want to get into them conversations with couples and stuff and don't know, it's going to hurt you, because she's going to be mad at you, or he going to be mad at you, and they're going to fall out with you. I stay out of that.
I want to know. Okay, my girls here, if I'm dating somebody and you see him, I want to know.
You know what?
Noted.
You'll know if you pay attention to your mate. You ain't got to what about them. All you got to do is pay attention how they reacting, is him or her reacting, and the ways they change their ways and stuff. You will know. Don't come telling me something. If I don't see it, it don't hurt me, because I'm gonna find out, because I pay attention to my wife. So I will know. But don't come in my face telling me stuff, because sometimes, people tell you stuff and it's not like they tell you.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So how do you handle, Kenny, how do you handle pathological liars? Do you know any pathological liars?
Oh, yeah. I got one a friend of men and my wife. She tells me stuff. We do a lot of dancing, ballroom dancing. And I done went to a different event. Yeah, that's the one that said that about you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go back and say she said. I say, I go back and ask them, did you say such and such on the day? They say, no, I wasn't even there. I don't even approach the liar. I just say, oh, okay. And there's numerous times they done did this, and said stuff about people. So I stay back. I stay back, and I know when and when not to.
Mm-hmm. Kenny, listen.
To do stuff.
Kenny, we have to take a commercial break. Please continue to listen. If you have any more questions, please feel free to call back.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Can you keep that lady PG off from talking about her husband and keep on staying?
Okay, Kenny. Thank you for calling this morning. This is 9:10 a.m. Superstation. You're listening to Nurse Charms Live. We'll be right back.
Did he say?
If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, the insurance companies never want to pay. Hello?
Listen, David, I'm telling you, we won't pay.
No, I'm looking at the case right now, and you will pay.
No, we won't.
I'm absolutely positive
we won't.
that you will pay.
No.
Okay, that's it.
No.
When the insurance companies say they won't pay, I will make them pay you. Get the money you deserve at getdavidgetpaid.com.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
So Gorgeous is the latest brand to hit the hair extension and wig market. Made from 100% human hair donors with textures to perfectly blend into your hair, giving you full, natural-looking styles with added volume and length. You can wash, color, curl, and straighten our gorgeous bundles and wigs. Shop our collection now at sosogorgeous.com and get ready to show off your gorgeous hair.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
And we are back. You are listening to 910 AM Superstation. This is Nurse Charms Live. I have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace in the studio with me. All morning we've been having a lively discussion about pathological lying, but now we are actually going to change the topic. The next topic that I want to discuss is the shortage of Black doctors. So callers, you can call in on this new topic. We're going to get into it right now, 313-778-7600. Again, that number is 313-778-7600. Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this is because I don't think that we talk about the lack of diversity in medicine enough. And in certain communities, well, in my thoughts, I think that you would want healthcare workforce to mirror the patient population. So we're just going to get into this discussion. The numbers and the research is all there. So this is definitely a real occurrence. And as a matter of fact, the latest data from the Association of American Medical Colleges states that only about 5.7% of physicians in the United States identify as Black or African American. That is very low, 5.7%. Wow. I'm going to say that again, of physicians in the United States. So they talking about both of y'all because both of y'all are Black. So y'all make up the 5.7% of the physicians in the United States that identify as Black African Americans. So my first question to both of you ladies, since both of you are doctors, why is it important to have Black doctors in our healthcare system in terms of the advantages and in terms of the innovations, and even when it comes to reducing health disparities? I'm going to start with you, Dr. Grace, and then Dr. Michelle, I want you to chime in.
Well, first of all, the importance of having someone that looks like you, is getting over the language barrier and then understanding our culture, because we do have a culture. Right. And so you'll be surprised how many patients have said to me, I'm glad I can understand what you're saying. Right. Because a lot of foreigners have accents, not saying that they're not good doctors. It's just the understanding that they need. And my motto is, the best patient is an educated patient. So how can you educate them or explain to them what's going on if they can't understand what you're saying? So that's very, very important that we have that relationship and rapport development, because you relate because, oh, that's a sister, I trust her, coming off, some of our history and, in Tennessee and, the Tuskegee incident and stuff like that, because I deal with a lot of seniors who remember that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them don't trust doctors. I mean, even some young people today still don't trust doctors.
Right.
But seeing someone that looks like you, it will definitely get across the language barrier, cultural barriers, and actual trust doctor-patient relationships.
What about in terms of interventions? You mentioned history. This is Black History Month. So, I mean, we have some great people who have paved the pathways for medicine. Do you have any that come to mind? Some of the...
I can't think anyone off the top of my head, but I do know like a lot of the gynecological things that are happening.
Even current.
Those things were, most of them were invented by Black people.
Yeah.
I went to school with a gentleman who was adopted, didn't know his adoptive parents, and searched for them and come out to find out both his mom and dad was doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And his doctor was a Jamaican man who's Jamaican American who developed the stirrups, the speculum, and all of that, but it was taken from him. I can't think of his name right now, but it's a lot of things that we have contributed. Blood transfusions, just sterile techniques, all have been done by African Americans. I mean, even the inoculation of Osiris, who was the slave, getting back to vaccines, that came from the continent of Africa when Black Pox started. Osiris, the slave, took pus from the pox, cut the skin open on himself and his master and everybody on the plantation, and they survived.
Wow,
that was the first.
I didn't know that.
That's the first vaccine. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Vaccine originated from Africa. Now, the vaccines that we have today is a whole nother story, a whole nother time. But because all the additives and stuff that they put in it, but inoculation originated from the continent of Africa.
Yeah, okay.
I did not know that.
Dr. Michelle, I want you to get into what are why is it important to have a Black doctor in terms of some of reducing health disparities? I mean, with you being a psychologist, we've seen that they've closed down dang near all the places where you to go to get care for mental health, and now we just have these people on the streets or not knowing where to turn to. So why is it, especially in a city like Detroit, why is it important to have Black doctors in psychology?
Well, first of all, people are more trusting. When somebody is seeing a psychologist, they're pouring out everything, and sometimes our own people, Black people, and especially Black men, if they're telling you all of their business, they may be talking to someone who's not of the same race, who's ready to call the cops on them.
Right.
And that has come up. I had somebody actually tell me that they were sitting in somebody's office. They started laying it all out because they, described themselves as an open book. And this person had to go and talk to their supervisor about whether or not they should call the police. And so the supervisor had to tell this person, no, this is not a situation where you have a duty to warn or anything like that. So even having that competency, and so you would imagine that he never wants to see anybody else outside of his race. At that point, that led him to not trust any clinicians, because of that experience. That was a very, very traumatizing experience for him. But you want to see somebody who not only looks like you, but somebody who at least thinks like you. They understand you.
Right.
And so I always believe that even if you can't see somebody, if you're Black and you can't see another Black person, then you need to see somebody who has that cultural competency to be able to meet your needs. Because if that's not there, I mean, that's the most important. I mean, I know we take all these classes and what is it, like a mandatory, we have to get so many CEUs, but actually that means nothing because people, do it as a formality and then they go back to doing their day-to-day business. Right. But really we need to take that's even more important than race, because you can have somebody of this, that, who looks like you, but they don't think like you.
Right.
And so you're foreign to them.
Right. Let's see. Let's get back into our callers. Eric, good morning, Eric. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you two doing on this sunny?
Doing well. I have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace. I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but Dr. Michelle is a clinical psychologist. Dr. Grace is internal medicine, family physician, and we are just having this discussion about what happened to all the black doctors. You have any comments or questions?
Well, it's not just what happened to all the black doctors. You know, you guys bring up a very interesting conversation. We talk about trust as well as why a lot of black people do not go to the doctor. I mean, it's a matter of trust. I mean, I did my senior thesis at Eastern Michigan University in health administration course curriculum, and I did my senior thesis on the access to healthcare in urban and rural communities. And as I found out, because I use human subjects as my go-to to get the analysis as well as the research, and it's just that trust is real. And we always talk about how important it is to go see a black doctor, but the Stockholm syndrome is real. You still have individuals that would not go see someone that looks like them because they think the white man's water is wetter. And that is real. You have the Tuskegee Project. People still, go back to COVID. A lot of people to this day have yet to take the COVID shot because of the Tuskegee Project. So the trust is real. When I found out from doing my paper, you still have people that will utilize old remedies that have been passed down from generation to generation, thinking that's the best form of cures for ailments. And it's not. You still need to see a black doctor. But in almost any profession that we deal with, you still have black people thinking going to a white proprietor is better. You still have black people getting a white lawyer because, again, they think the water is wetter. Ice freezes at a different temperature. So we have a lot to still overcome as a people to understand how important it is to support our own.
That's true. When you say black people go get a white lawyer because they think that they might be smarter. I mean, that's disappointing, but that's just the hard truth how some people think.
Well, I have a story about that. I had someone that that I know and trust and consider as a good friend, and they were referring. They know what I do, but they were referring my all her friends to this white gentleman. And I did research on him. He didn't even have a medical degree. He wasn't any type of doctor, nurse, nothing. So what he did was he set up his practice and hired all the medical staff around him. And so even though he had the knowledge, he didn't go to school, didn't have a degree or anything like that, as far as to actually to do the medical part of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I have my degree, did my residency, done all the testing and everything, and because he's white,
just prejudged.
You just sending everybody to him, and he's not even a doctor at all. Period.
We gotta stop thinking like that. Go ahead, Eric.
Let's even take a step further with foreign politics. Look at Detroit. You had a lot of black representation in Detroit, but all of a sudden in 2013 you had these Negroes thinking that the white man was better than anyone else, even though that white man came with all kinds of baggage. And that's an example of how much we have to still go as a race to trust our own. Yes, Kwame Kilpatrick did do some unfortunate things, but the person that followed him, I mean, come on, let's be real. For those that know the history of Detroit, know the history of Wayne County, Mike Douglas no better than what Kwame Kilpatrick or any other field student politician has been. He just has not got caught yet. But you still had a mindset of people in Detroit thinking that, well, the black man did us wrong, let's give this white man a chance. Well, that white man has done it too, and they will soon find out he doesn't do it wrong.
I'm sorry, I got to cut to commercial. Thank you for calling, Eric. Please continue to listen. This is Nurse Charms Live. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation. We will be right back.
Make sure your plumbing problems are taken care of the right way. For over 20 years, Right Way Plumbing's knowledgeable staff has served Metro Detroit. Schedule your appointment and receive a free in-home visual plumbing inspection with any paid service. Discounts available for seniors and veterans. And remember, there's only one way to do a job, and that's the right way. Call now 877-RIGHT-89. That's 877-744-4889.
If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, the insurance companies never want to pay. Hello?
Listen, David, I'm telling you, we won't pay.
No, I'm looking at the case right now, and you will pay.
No, we won't.
I'm absolutely positive
we won't.
that you will pay.
No.
Okay, that's it. No. When the insurance companies say they won't pay, I will make them pay you. Get the money you deserve at getdavidgetpaid.com.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
So Gorgeous is the latest brand to hit the hair extension and wig market. Made from 100% human hair donors with textures to perfectly blend into your hair, giving you full, natural-looking styles with added volume and length. You can wash, color, curl, and straighten our gorgeous bundles and wigs. Shop our collection now at sosogorgeous.com and get ready to show off your gorgeous hair.
The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone. Or watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
And we are back. This is 910 AM Superstation. You are listening to Nurse Charms Live. I have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace in the studio with me. We're having a great discussion here. We are just talking about what happened to all the black doctors. I'm going to get back into my callers because I know y'all been holding. Let's see. We have Fidel. Hey, Fidel.
Hey, ladies, I had to call back. Hey, it's not so much black doctors. It's just blacks that hold these positions at any level, from the presidency on down. Most people feel like it's their system. It's a white man's world. How you gonna get your just due? So if you hire a white lawyer or Jew lawyer, they tend to respect them a little bit more better than a black lawyer. When you're talking about a black doctor, me, myself, I have never met a black doctor that told me to go holistic. I never met a black, wait a minute, I'm not going to prescribe you all these pills. Let's try this. In fact, I have something set up on the side. Here's my card over here, and let's try this first.
Well, you just met one now, Dr. Grace.
Right, that's right.
She is all about holistic care. But
right, but I'm saying when you actually in the
right,
hospital,
you're right, yeah.
They don't push that over the radio or something else. You don't go to the doctor over the radio. You go see them in person.
Right.
I never experienced a black doctor say, let's try something else versus these pills. So for me, I know about all the inventions and all what we have done, but to me, when blacks get these positions, they seem to become so Europeanized because I mean, 9 times out of 10, they own it and they set the rules. So
He's
I just
right.
wanted to call back and comment on that. Thank y'all, ladies. Enjoy the rest
That's
of
how we're trained.
Yeah, and finding a doctor, I think, is a research project. You know, it's like you really have to figure it out. And it's not just the black doctors that are doing what he's talking about. There are a lot of others that are doing it too. And like you said, Dr. Grace, it's the training. So you had to go above and beyond your training to do what you do now.
Right.
Because you're not trained that way in school.
No, I'm not. I took my first alternative medicine class, my 4th year of medical school, as an elective. It was not mandatory. Nutrition was only 2 weeks long. So that's all we get. But nutrition and biochemistry was maybe a month. That's how the body works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were taught the first year how the body works. The second year, we're taught about diseases along with the disease, the symptom. This is the drug. Then we did our clinical rotations and with exams, and then the last year were all clinicals with evaluations. So we're just taught to diagnose, and here's the drug.
Right. They don't teach about holistics
and actually healing.
And healing.
Yeah.
No.
Good morning, PG. How are you?
I want you ladies to know that this is so important, the collaboration between a clinical psychologist, a nurse, and Dr. G.
Woo-hoo.
This is so important. Now,
Thank you.
You talk about, and Dr. G made this comment, which was so profound and prophetic, that you need sometimes a black doctor because you know, a lot of people don't articulate well. And when they go to the doctor, they have a sense of insecurity because maybe they feel that they cannot convey what they're thinking, or they are too embarrassed to ask questions thinking that the questions don't make sense. But I think a stupid question is the one that you don't ask.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you agree with me on that, but...
No, you're right. Yeah.
But how do you get people to feel better about seeing a black doctor? Because I think it boils down to the people don't want someone that look like them to know that they're having these issues, and they feel better if the person doesn't know them, like meaning a different race. How do you get our people to see the importance of having a black doctor and just being truthful about everything medical? Like if you say, no, I've never smoked before, they can tell that you smoked.
Yeah.
Why would you not say that you smoked before?
Right.
So how do you get that honesty, Dr. Michelle, Dr. G, and Nurse Charms? And Nurse Charms, thank you for having this show and allowing the guests to talk more about the content as opposed to about themselves and their practice, but you never miss the opportunity to let them plug themselves.
Yes.
We need this kind of show.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for calling, PJ.
All you ladies. Black excellence.
Thank you. We'll answer your call. Dr. Michelle, you want to start off with that?
Yeah, I think it's one of those, and she's right, because, you know, you go and you see a black doctor, black nurse, black, professional, and you're thinking, oh, this person is like too close for comfort. And so I think it's just a matter of trial and error. You go and you encounter a Nurse Charms, you encounter Dr. Grace, and you say, you know what? That wasn't so bad. You ever have that experience where somebody says, and it's another black person, and they say, "You're so professional." It's almost like, would you be saying this to a white doctor? It's almost like it wasn't expected because you're black.
A slanted compliment. Yeah. And it's like, I'm clinical, so when I'm in the hospital, not to give myself all this credit, but I do give myself credit. But whenever I go into a black patient's room, it's like they just light up. They be like, "Oh, you my nurse today?" Mm-hmm. They be, it's like they're like, "Okay, right on." And stuff. It's like they just immediately just feel so confident, and I mean that's how I want people to feel. So you want to chime in as well, Dr. Grace?
How do we get them to feel comfortable? I mean, doing what we're doing.
Right.
I mean, we got to get out there.
Yes.
Get on the radio, be on social media.
Right.
Let them see that I'm human too.
Right. That's why I'm so glad you're on this show. You got Fidel saying like, oh, before then never knew that doctor's holistic. Yes. Well, guess what? Now you got one here.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to get out there and get the, beat the pavement, like they say, so they'll know that we exist and that we're here to help and not harm.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I want to say, if I don't know something, I'll be like, you know what, let me go research that.
Right. Nothing
contrary
wrong with
to popular
that.
belief.
Right.
Just because I'm a doctor doesn't mean I know everything.
Exactly.
So,
No.
you know, I am, you know, getting, you know, reverting back to the previous show, I have no problem saying, let me look it up.
Right.
I'm not going to make something up.
Right.
So
let's look at this together. Let's
yes.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on the next show. Yeah. Let's see, because we are running out of time. I want to make sure I get to, you know, I love my callers. I want to make sure I get to all of y'all. Let's see, Mary. Hey, Mary, how are you?
Good morning, Nurse Charm. Thank you for taking my call again. And I don't know whether Dr. Michelle or Dr. Grace stated this, but the statement was that sometimes you'll find doctors that look like you but that do not think like you. Yeah. And I want to say that because of classism, I remember once I walked into this director's office. Now, I didn't think I was going to meet with a black doctor. For whatever reason, I just conditioned to, I don't know, I didn't think it would be a black doctor. So when the doctor turned around and I saw that she was black, like a child, my face lit up, I started smiling, but the doctor responded back with not such a friendly look.
Wow.
So and I'm thinking, you know, a lot of thoughts went through my head. Maybe she could have been thinking, like, why would you not expect to see someone black? You know, she could have been thinking that. But I could have been but I was thinking, like, wow, a black doctor. You know, and then you feel a little bit more comfortable. But because of the race divide, we get that there are doctors who, because of their financial means and because of they may not have a deeply rooted relationship with black people. And so it's just that experience. So it's like, for now, I'm like, look, I don't care. As long as the person's a doctor and they're doing what they should be doing for me, I will accept it.
Yeah.
It's just like that one experience, just like when she turned around and I didn't get that warm feeling back because I was so proud to see a black person.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes black doctors do not respond to black patients like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, Mary. Appreciate you for calling.
Okay.
Have a great day. All right. Let's get to Tim. Good morning, Tim. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, and good morning to your doctor. You know,
good morning.
I was going through a thing, and I wanted to find me a black doctor, and they kept giving me hassles. They kept sending me to these Chaldean people because I requested a doctor that looked like me. But when they sent me to the Chaldean doctor, they couldn't talk like me, and they couldn't feel. They just didn't have that black male feeling, you know. So I finally found me one, and that's the one who did my prostate thing because all the other ones wanted to take my prostate out.
Oh wow!
But he said, hold on, we're going to catch it at the early stages because when I went to see the European doctor, he wanted to take it out. And then I said, I want a second opinion. Then I went to see the Chaldean doctor. Only thing he was talking about was we're going to have surgery. We're going to have surgery. I'm like, nah, man. I said, well, give me another doctor. So when he finally sent me to a urologist, I also found out that he's a primary care doctor office. I mean, he got his own primary care office. So that's who I go see now, Dr. Clifford. Dr. Clifford. And I can communicate with him like a black male communicating to another black male.
Yeah.
You know, I would have someone who looked like me. See, we have been led that only person who does the best doctor is a European doctor. That's not true.
Right. Thank you for calling, Tim. Thank you for giving an example of why seeing a black doctor works for you. Listen, we have to take a break. This will be our last and final break. You're listening to Nurse Charms Live. We will be right back. Callers, continue to hold. I'll be right back as soon as we come back after the break.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy. For months and months and months, I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and, you know, you don't know if something's going to help you or not, but I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days after taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
And we are back. You are listening to 910 AM Superstation. This is Nurse Charms Live. I have Dr. Michelle and Dr. Grace in the studio with me. We are just having a conversation about what happened to all the black doctors. The current statistics right now, it says that only 5.7% of doctors in the U.S. are black. So I want to ask the question, what are some of the reasons that may explain why we don't see the percentage of black doctors increasing? Why is it only 5.7%? Dr. Grace, you want to get into that?
I think it has to do, again, with our culture and education. You know, everybody wants to be a social media influencer. They want to be a basketball player, football player. Yeah. And then, no one is pushing the medical arena. Like people still... One thing is going to always happen. People are going to be sick, and people are going to die. People are going to eat. People need shelter. All those things are staple in our culture. So we need to be gearing our youth, to take care of people. But we also have to make it attractive and understand that they can do it. At this point in time, I would, from me going through this process, we have so much information and so much resources now that they can go, most people say it costs a lot, but now with so many scholarships and grant money out there, you even have people who specialize in getting money for school now. Yeah. I think that is the reason being for that. I want to be a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Dr. Michelle.
Yeah. And we live in like an ADHD world now. So in the world caters to, we want to do this, we want to do that. And we talk about the influencers. So if your goal is to make money, you find other ways to make money. You don't need to go to school and be a doctor. Maybe your mindset, like, I don't have all this time to be in school, or I may be in school, but I'm not going to finish because now I'm this big influencer. So this right here is getting me the attention, it's getting me the money, it's getting me the lifestyle that I need. Right. And so it's just like, people are not taking the time to, and we know that school takes time, right? It takes a lot of our time, and you can't passively go to school and finish, whereas there's so many other activities like social media, you can passively engage in that and still get the job done. And school is not like that. And so we live in a world where people just don't have the patience anymore. Right. And they're finding that it's just not reinforced that these are the benefits versus how much money am I going to make versus what do I really want to do with my life.
Right. Let's get to Jerome. Good morning, Jerome. How are you?
Good morning, and good morning to your guest also. Would you speak to how our doctors and how MO tests and actually how most of the doctors are obligated to the pill manufacturers to prescribe medications, and also speak to the experiments that have taken place against the black population over the years. And also, if you can, people should note how much, when you're talking about our history, the benefits of our history in medicine, and how children were inspired mostly when they were kids on becoming doctors. Mm-hmm. So we just need to be more conscious of the manufacturers and how we were excluded from that arena. We're in research, but in terms of manufacturing, we're left out.
Yeah.
So
that's a good comment.
Can you speak to Dr. Hotef and how all the doctors give their oath to Dr. Hotef?
What was that? Can you repeat that?
He's talking about the Hippocratic Oath, which is really the oath of Imhotep, because Hippocrates actually went to commit to study medicine and all of that. So that is what he's talking about. So hopefully, I understand that and I know that. And I just want to refute and rebut, most doctors are obligated to the pharmaceutical companies because you have to write prescriptions. I am obligated to my patient, and I feel if a prescription works at the moment, I'm going to write it. If I feel that they can do a holistic approach, I'm going to suggest that. And I don't believe that that people should be forced to choose. I believe that pharmacia or pharmacy and holistic medicine can work synergistically together, because let's be honest, some pharmaceutical agents work faster than holistic properties do. Sometimes it takes a little bit while for vitamins and supplements to build up in the body to do what it needs to do over a period of time, where I can write a script and by the second or third dose, they can have, some curing properties happen at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I understand what he's saying. I understand the history of, people going to medical school, and trying to be doctors, and the segregation and the lynchings and all of that. I'm quite aware of that. Our history is our history, and I wouldn't be here today if I wouldn't stand on the shoulders of those people who preceded me. So hopefully I addressed everything that you said.
Thank you, Jerome. I appreciate your call today. Oh my gosh, I don't think we're going to be able to get to all these callers. Let's see, Jim. Good morning. Thank you for calling Nurse Charms Live.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I just want to ask you a question. Well, what is low sodium, and what makes it drop? My son dropped down to 113. I had to take him to the emergency, and they didn't tell me what's the cause of low sodium, but some says could be in the medication and dehydration or something, But they brought it back up to about 145. It had dropped below 113,
Okay, let's get into that real quick. We got
Well, first of all, I don't know your history of your son. I don't know how old he is. I don't know any type of other medical history. We can't turn this into a medical appointment, but it's called hyponatremia. It could be that he was. It could be to, like you said, dehydration. Most of the time, when you're dehydration, it causes the sodium to go up. So it could be something going on in his kidneys. It could be something in his adrenal glands. It could be something that also helps, congestive heart failure. People that have heart problems can go into a hyponatremic state, which their sodium drops. So those are the general answers, but I can't give you a pinpoint answer in regards to your son.
Dr. Grace, Dr. Grace, since we're running out of time, Jim, listen, I'm going to have Dr. Grace give your information. Go ahead and give your information.
Yes, my office number is 248-356-1111. That's 248-356-1111. Or go to our website, www.drgracecares.com, and then I can give you a more overview or pinpoint it based upon your son, his age and demographics and all of that.
Oh, okay. And Dr. Thank you for calling, Jim. I'm sorry, the rest of the callers, please continue to hold. We have Bob Ficano up next. You can call in for his show. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get to everyone. Dr. Michelle, please give your information so they can get in contact with you.
You can go to my, I have two websites, DMLPsych, PSYCH.com, DMLPsych.com, or drmichelleshow.com, and that's Michelle with one L, MICHELE.
And of course, I'm Nurse Charms on all social media platforms. Nurse Charms on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Please hit me up. Please continue to listen to 910 AM Superstation. Bob Ficano is up next, and I will see y'all here next Sunday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Thanks for listening.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep